Hi, welcome to the Butterfly Bungalow at the Birchwood Butterfly Ranch. In this video, we are going to talk about how you get here and what happens after you do. So, once you've gone to birchwoodbutterflyranch.com and adopted your butterfly block, you should receive an email. In that email will be a set of coordinates. Remember, the Butterfly Bungalow is in the middle of a wild prairie full of pollinators and other critters. They don't have an address. Amazon doesn't deliver out here. So, you'll need these GPS coordinates to get here. The trailhead of Outpost Trail. When you put those coordinates into your Apple Maps or your Google Maps, they'll bring you right here. That's Outpost Trail behind me. This is where you park your car, and this is where you'll begin your adventure. Now, if you can't make the trip on foot from here to the Butterfly Bungalow, it's about a quarter mile. If you choose not to walk or you can't do it, we can come out and pick you up in the Butterfly Buggy. No problem at all. However, if you can make it, we do encourage you to walk as much as possible out on the property. Land snorkeling is what we do here every day. And remember, the slower you go, the more you see. So, I'm not going to ruin the surprise and take you down Outpost Trail right now, but I will bring you to one point of interest that will make your navigation around the Pollinator Paradise a little bit easier. We're about halfway down on the Outpost Trail, and this tree behind me is the only white pine that we have on the property. It's one of the oldest trees, maybe the oldest tree. It probably dates back to the 1800s. Why is this important? Because when you're walking around the property, this tree towers above all the other trees that are out here. And all the other trees are oak trees and maple trees. They're deciduous. Well, this one is conifer. So you can look for the top of this tree wherever you are on the property, and you'll have an idea of where you are in relation to Outpost Trail. And when you know where you are in Outpost Trail, then you know where you are in relation to the Pollinator Paradise, and you know where you are in relation to the Butterfly Bungalow, which is in the Pollinator Paradise. So that's the navigation trip out here. Look for the big white pine tree, and you'll know where you are. Okay, we made it to the end of Outpost Trail. That's the Pollinator Paradise right behind me. From here, it's a super easy trek. Take a left turn on Cougar Pass, and you should be able to see the Butterfly Bungalow, unless you're vertically challenged. The grass is pretty tall out here. But for most everybody, you should be able to see the top of the bungalow once you make a left turn. All you do is follow the trail. It'll turn around to the right, and for sure you'll see the bungalow, and you'll see the path going into the bungalow. So let's go inside, and we'll go through a few things there. And before we go to the bungalow, we'll take one look at the white pine that we pointed out earlier. See it towering above the rest of the trees right there? That means that if you head that way, if you were in the middle of the woods or you're out in the Pollinator Paradise, although you can pretty much see everything in the field in the paradise, but if you're anywhere in these woods and you see the top of that tree right there, that's a conifer tree, it's a big pine tree, you know that right next to it is Outpost Trail. When you first arrive at the bungalow, you're going to be at the back side. You're going to see the mechanicals for the house. Just want to let you know, this isn't where you get in. You're going to want to go around to the front. So let's go there now. Here we are at the front door of the bungalow. It should always be open. Now when you first walk up, you might notice that these shades are put down. The reason we do that is because the sun shines in the afternoon, and we want to make sure that the place is nice and comfortable when you first arrive. Don't worry, we'll show you how to put the shades back up. You're welcome to leave the shades up or down. Leave the windows open or closed anytime you want. I just want to let you know the shades might be down. Don't be worried. Everything in the bungalow is pretty self-explanatory. There's just a couple things I wanted to go over so that when you first get here, you feel a little bit more comfortable, maybe a little bit more at home. The first thing is, when you first walk in the door, immediately to your left, you're going to find the light switches, which are going to turn all the lights on, turn the fan on, and all the mood lighting. The next thing, and maybe the most important, is the air conditioning control and or the heat control if you're here when it's cooler. It's on the wall right here. There's 3 pictures on the top of this remote control. There's a sun, a raindrop, and a snowflake. The sun is for heating mode. If you hit the mode button on here, it shows you on here, but I'm just going to go over it. If you hit the mode button, when you first get here, it's going to be in dehumidifier mode. That is the raindrop mode. That keeps it cool while not cooling the air. If you're here in the summer, you're going to want to hit the mode button and make sure that there's a little arrow that will go over to, you guessed it, the snowflake button. The snowflake button is air conditioning. And then you can use the temperature up and down buttons to make it cooler or warmer. So if you haven't run a mini split, that's basically how it runs. And if you put the little arrow on the sun button, that'll make it warmer in here. Again, adjust your temperature accordingly. There's some other fun stuff on there you can play with if you want or not. The other thing I wanted to let you know about is over here. The bungalow gets its water from the sky, from rainwater. We have 275 gallons. And while that is a lot, it's not a whole lot if you think about the amount of water that you can use when you're not thinking about your water usage. So keep in mind that we don't have unlimited supplies of water unless you're here when it's raining continuously, which we hope you're not, because it's way more fun to be here when you can be outside. The water, when it comes into the bungalow, is filtered 5 times before it gets to this faucet. So you could drink it, but because we want to be as safe as we can using the rainwater, and because we want your stay here to be as comfortable as possible, we have a potable water filtering system. This will filter the water. There's 2 filters in there. I think they say it's 5 times. We'll call it 2 more times. So drink the water out of here, not out of here. Shower, wash dishes, boil water, things like that out of the faucet. So how do you run this thing? Super simple. Top comes off, this comes out. Put it under the faucet right here. Turn on the water and fill it up. I'm going to fill it up right now for you. And it takes 2 to 3 hours for this entire, I believe it's a 2-gallon system to filter. So keep that in mind. If you're using a lot of water, it's going to take a little while for this to filter out. But it is the best drinking water that I think I've had maybe ever. These filters, apparently they're half a micron. They'll take out the taste of chlorine even in the water. Not that we have any chlorine here because it comes from the sky, but they will. So that's the 2 things that we wanted to let you know. Other than that, I think you'll find everything here in the bungalow to be pretty easy, pretty laid back. And again, if you have any questions in that welcome email that we sent you, our contact information is there. You're welcome to call us, text us, email us, any way you want to get a hold of us, and we'll help you in any way we can. And again, if you can't make that walk from Outpost Trail to the bungalow, don't be shy. Let us know. We'll come get you in the Butterfly Bungalow or in the Butterfly Buggy. Oh, also, there will be a key here. You probably don't need it, but if you feel like you need to lock up the place before you leave, feel free to lock the door if your stuff is inside and you're concerned. The bear tend to not use the doorknob. They just break the window to come in. So that's about the only visitor you're going to get, unless you see a raccoon or a deer, but they don't really break into stuff. It's mostly just bear. And that's it. We hope you enjoy your stay here at the Butterfly Bungalow. We thank you for supporting the Birchwood Butterfly Ranch. And remember, the slower you go, the more you see.